And I was like, why do I need to learn this? Like, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to be here. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having a good day so far. Today, I'm going to be talking about why I didn't go to uni, or at least why I only went for a couple of months. I know that here in Australia, there's a big mentality that once you finish year 12, you have to go right into uni. Otherwise, you're just going to be left stranded and you're not going to have a job and all this sort of stuff. So to start the story, let's head back all the way to young Liam. I knew that I loved to do photography. On the weekends, I would go out and take photos on my old Nikon D70-100. I remember coming back to school and in classes like English, when everyone else was paying attention, I would just be in Lightroom just editing photos. I just loved it so much. I could not stop editing. Then you skip to year 11 where you have your VCE subjects, which are your important subjects which add up to your final score at the end of year 12, which here in Australia is the last year of school. I took on media, which ended up being my favorite subject whilst I was at school. I remember throughout year 12, my media teacher, she was by far my favorite teacher. She was able to just keep pushing me as a creative whilst I was in school. I remember telling her that I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to go to uni, because at that time there was a lot of discussion at school about, oh, what uni are you going to? Are you going to uni? What are you going to be studying? I remember sitting down with her and just saying, you know, I want to be a photographer. Like, I know, I've got a feeling that that's what I want to do. I remember her saying like, yes, you should do that. Like, you're clearly already got a passion for photography. You should just go out in the industry and just give it a go. And I think that's what really helped me, especially during school. I worked pretty hard in year 12. I was a dedicated student. All the subjects that I chose got marked down. For example, media is a subject that gets marked down. So if I got an 80 in it, my score would automatically get marked down to a 70. I finished all my exams. I got my ATAR back, which is your final score for year 11 and 12, and I got a 64. At the time, I was like, damn, because I thought I worked harder than that. But I didn't really let this get to me because I still had that passion. I was like, I know I want to be a photographer, but I don't know how I want to go about it. Like, do I want to study photography at university? My parents wanted me to go to uni and they still supported me if I didn't want to, but that's what they would have preferred, me going to uni and studying photography. And then my mates, especially Mike, who wasn't going to uni at that point, he was right in the photography industry. He was telling me that I shouldn't go to uni. I was in these two minds. I was like, which one do I go for? And it was quite stressful at the time. I ended up choosing to go to university. I was going to be open-minded about it. I was like, all right, whatever. Let's just give it a go. I got into the Bachelor of Photography. The first couple of classes, I remember just sitting there and one of the tasks we had to do was light up a cube. It was just really basic photography. I remember sitting there being like, what is going on? We were learning aperture, shutter speed, and ISO when I'd already been doing photography for a couple of years. So I didn't think it was worth it, but I kept pushing through. I was like, all right, maybe I'll give it a couple more weeks, might get better. As the weeks went on, I remember sitting in this lecture and they were talking about the history of some photographer like 200 years ago, and I was like, why do I need to learn this? Like, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to be here sitting like in this lecture talking about this guy from 200 years ago. Like, I want to be out creating content with my mates, getting in the industry, getting hands-on, going on photo shoots, meeting other creatives. It just wasn't happening at the university at that time. So I made the decision to stop uni. And this was a pretty big risk for me because going from school straight to uni to completely nothing, I was like, what do I do now? Like, I've got all this time on my hands. That was a really hard transition. When you go from being extremely busy to having absolutely all the time in the world, all of a sudden you've got to start filling up your plate with things. I filled that time up with the wrong things. I remember this one day I woke up, I went on my phone and I literally was just on my phone until 10 o'clock that night. I got out of bed only a couple times to go to the toilet and to eat. And that was like the lowest of the low. That was when I was just like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do photography full time? Like, how am I going to get jobs? And it was just that hard transition period, but slowly you build up, and me and Mike would just go out and take photos more. We'd post more to Instagram. I ended up getting a job at a car dealership, which is where Mike worked, and I would just move around the cars. It wasn't a photography related job, but it still meant that I could make some sort of money, because if I didn't, I couldn't have any money to fund my photography. That only lasted about 6 months of me moving around cars before I got bored of it. And then I realized that I wanted to do something else. And we hadn't met Hayden at this point. This was just me, Mike, and Lamont. We just go out and take photos. I remember Mike showed me this video from years ago when him him and Lamont, they actually had their own little YouTube channel and it was about skateboarding. He was like, dude, I want to start doing vlogs about photography. So I was like, all right, that's not a bad idea, but I had no experience in talking to a camera. This was like a new thing, like being a YouTuber, starting a YouTube channel. I had no idea how it worked. We just started doing random vlogs. I remember my first vlog was me eating a hamburger. Like, what? I knew I just had to start and I was just approaching this all with an open mind. Then a couple months after me starting YouTube, I met Hayden, but he'd already been doing YouTube for about 1 year at that point and he was really good at filmmaking and we were really good at photography. So we ended up taking the photos and he would film vlogs of us taking the photos, like we did the snow photography vlog, we did the blazing fire vlog. We just kept on working together and you know, now we're here and we're just having fun, creating content. You should just get out in the field because you'll meet that many people. Like the people I've met over the past years in the photography and creative industry. I guess the moral of this story is to trust yourself. Only you know what the right decision is. That's all for this video. This is just a little story time. I've never done anything like this. It felt good to just connect with you and tell you a bit about my journey from going from school to where I am now. So if you did like this video, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you're in that position right now where you're not sure what you want to do with your life, I hope this video helped you and gave you a little bit of insight on what I did. So that's all from me today. As always, don't think, just do.